All I need is a little bit of faith in a heart after God's own. Help me in my ways. I'll still follow, send me that call in the valley when lost. I'll trust you in it all.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Emily and I make faith and lifestyle videos. Today I just kind of wanted to sit and chat and talk to you about some things that I have been going through this week. There's some things I kind of just feel like getting off my chest and talking about and kind of showing you what God is showing me through it. I feel like this could really help someone and be an encouragement to someone. And so while I do that, I'm going to do my makeup with you guys. I am going to get ready to film a video right now. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. Turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. Give this video a like so I know that you enjoy it. And without further ado, let's get into this. So if I seem or sound a little sad, it's because I am. I had a situation that happened this week to me. I don't want to make myself out to like completely be a victim because it is kind of my fault. I was just really taken off guard from it. Yeah, it made me really sad. Yeah, without like beating around the bush too much. I've already done my skincare, by the way, if you're interested to know that. For skincare, I have a bunch of different products that I use. I don't really have like one particular brand that I like. I get a lot of products like in my Ipsy bag that are just like random, a lot of skincare products, so I just use no particular brand, but I always start out with toner, eye cream, a serum, moisturizer, and then like a face oil. And yeah, so I've already done that. Now I'm gonna do my foundation and tell you what is going on with me. For the past like couple years, let me go back. I used to work for Chipotle. I worked there for 6 years. I was a service manager there. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about food and myself and had some turbulent relationships that came out of that job. But I worked there for 6 years and I ended up leaving because I had this like really crazy toxic boss that I just did not want to work for at all. He was just really bad at his job and just treated people like crap, and I would tell his boss and his boss would like pretend to care but would never do anything about it. After watching him throw countless temper tantrums and all these sorts of things, I left. It wasn't just because of him. He was kind of just the catalyst that God used to get me out of working at Chipotle, because Chipotle had become a comfort zone for me. And I was starting to feel like in 2020, when the pandemic's happening and all this crazy stuff is happening all over the world, like I just really started to feel this yearning in me I just wanted more. I was like, there's no way that my purpose in this life is to be a Chipotle manager. Like I just don't feel called to do that. And I enjoyed it for a while, but it was just like at my job, I felt like I kept hitting this wall where it was like, felt like nothing I did was ever enough. And I was just over it. I kept praying to the Lord, if this is a sign that you want me to quit my job, then please make it apparent. Give me more signs, Lord. And he was like really just telling me the whole time that my sign is that things are getting worse, but also like, you know that I've told you to leave. The sign will be you step out of the boat and see what I can do with your life, you know? After very many months of me just being abused emotionally at work and not feeling like good enough for anything that I did there, put in my 2 weeks and I left. And I ended up doing DoorDash with my husband for a couple of years because my husband is actually from Nicaragua. And so he was still waiting on his work permit at the time. He couldn't work anywhere. So he did DoorDash with me. And I loved doing DoorDash. Like it was really fun, but it also just like quickly turned into like the same thing where like we were making good money off DoorDash. It was really busy in Denver where we were at the time. Like DoorDash was just thriving, but I was not. It was the same thing as Chipotle all over again. I was working this job that wasn't really my calling, and I was working it so much that it just taking so much of my time. Because when I quit Chipotle, I was like, you know, I've always been a creative person. So my dreams in life are like, I want to record an album. I want to tour. At the time, I hadn't created my YouTube channel yet, but I wanted to. I just didn't know where to start. And when I quit Chipotle, I was like, great, I have all this time to do all this stuff. But then when I quit Chipotle, I just traded Chipotle for this other job, which was DoorDash, and just ended up working just as many hours, if not more hours on that. And then that took all my time. And I was just like, what the heck is the point of anything? Like, am I just supposed to work constantly all day, every day until I die, and then like that's my whole life. Like I know we need to work. Hear me out. I just felt very purposeless. And I was just like, what the heck do I do? So some stuff happened in Colorado. We ended up moving back here to Arizona. My husband still didn't have his work permit. After about a year of us being here, DoorDash wasn't really making us as much money as it had in Colorado. So I decided to do Instacart instead. At that point, my husband had finally gotten his work permit and was able to start working. So he worked full time and I did Instacart part time. And the reason that I only did it part time was because the Lord told me, and I know I'm being very bold by the Lord told me, but I really feel like he told me that I was going to do ministry full time, but not even like it's a future thing. Like I want you to do ministry full time. And that included my YouTube channel, but it was also just helping out at my church. Between doing YouTube and doing church ministry stuff, he wanted me to combine those two things into full-time ministry job, if that makes sense. But mind you, my channel, even right now, is very small. And you don't get paid for serving at a church, like unless you actually work there, which could happen someday, but that's not really the point. I was just trying to be obedient to the word that I heard God tell me. But I still wanted to be able to make money, but have a job that could be flexible with this like full-time ministry thing. So Instacart came along and it was like the perfect thing for me. I could work at any hours that I wanted. I could be at home and have the app on and still get orders. If you don't know what Instacart is, you deliver groceries to people. You go to the store, whatever store that the order comes up, because it's like an app and then it comes up as like a ding ding ding, and then you look at the store that it's from. It's typically like a store within a certain radius of like where you are, and then it has a grocery list, and then you go and pick out those specific grocery items for that person, deliver it to the customer, and then that's it. And I loved it. I really loved it. I started doing that in 2022. I loved it. It was just fun. I loved driving around. And like, I feel like with DoorDash, sometimes you end up driving really far and you don't always know how far when you accept the order. But with Instacart, it tells you right away like how many miles you're gonna be driving, and it was always like within like a 5-mile radius usually. So I really liked that. It also told you straight up how much you were gonna earn for this order, which DoorDash does not do. DoorDash just kind of gives you like an estimate. So anyway, I really liked it and I was good at it. And I even had customers in the app that like favorited me. So if they placed an order, like a grocery order on Instacart, like I would be the shopper that would accept it automatically because they favorited me as a shopper. Like I was really good at it. But what would happen was, because it's kind of like survival of the fittest. Let's say like an order pops up and it's like $40 and you can see what the items are that you're going to be shopping for. You can see the mileage. You can see if it's like an order for one person or multiple people. You can see that right away, but you have to look at it rather quickly before someone else might take that order. So a lot of the times I would accept an order really quickly, look at it, and then be like, you know what? I actually don't want to deliver 20 cases of water right now. Like I actually don't want to deliver a bunch of alcohol right now. I'm going to cancel this order and I'm going to wait for a better one. Or you look at the order and you realize it's a bunch of heavy stuff and it's like not worth the pay. I would just click orders really fast, like out of eagerness, right? And that would raise my cancellation rate on the app. So like say you select an order and then cancel it, like your cancellation rate goes up to like 2% or something like that. Once it gets up to 15%, you're at risk for deactivation. Basically, I had accepted and canceled so many orders over the past 2 years. I mean, yeah, I've been doing Instacart for 2 years, that my cancellation rate went above 15% to 17%, and it was sitting at 17% for a while, and I was doing my best not to cancel any orders. I was like, okay, if I accept it, I gotta go through with it because I don't know if they're gonna deactivate my account or not. I was surprised that I was able to be at 17% and have it not be deactivated. Sometimes I would really push the limits, you know? I was like, okay, I'm gonna decline this order. Maybe my account will get deactivated, but I'm sure even if it does get deactivated, it'll be fine. Like customer service is super supportive. I'll just talk to someone, we'll get it figured out, and I won't be deactivated. Mind you, I never was like in the middle of delivering someone's order or shopping for someone's order and then canceled it, unless I absolutely had to, which I think happened like once. Like I was very responsible with the orders I accepted. It was only like, you know, I'd accept an order really quickly and then be like, you know what, actually I don't want to shop for this, and then cancel it, which I feel like is reasonable. You can do that on DoorDash and not have repercussions for it. I don't understand why that's like such a no-no in their eyes. Yesterday, I went out to work Instacart because I was like, I have two options today. Like, I could film a video, or, you know, we really need some extra money. I could go out and work Instacart. So I went out. I'm waiting in the parking lot for like an order because you have better chances of getting a good order if you're like actually next to the store physically. I finally get this order. I see that it's 4 items for $14. And I'm like, oh, that's really small. I see that it's like some alcohol, but like, I'll just accept it, whatever. I accept it. I look at it. It's like a case of Smirnoff and like 3 bottles of like vodka or something like that. And I'm like, sitting there, and I've delivered alcohol orders before, and I wasn't even thinking in my mind at the time like, oh, I shouldn't deliver alcohol orders, but at the same time I'm sitting there in my Jesus shirt and I'm like, you know, Jesus turned water into wine, but at the same time, like, this seems like I'm feeding someone's alcohol addiction to be delivering them all this alcohol at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. Like, this just seems like a problem for me. And I just, like, when you deliver alcohol orders on Instacart, like, you can't just drop off the order. You actually have to meet the person, scan their ID, sign the signature, whatever. And sometimes with people who order alcohol, you just meet some really weird people. And that's just like an interaction I didn't want to have. And it was only $14. So I was like, you know what? I'm actually gonna cancel this order and wait for a better one. I have a feeling I'm gonna get a better one. So I cancel the order, and all of a sudden my app is not showing orders, and it says that I need to activate my Dasher, my Instacart shopping card that you use to pay for orders. And it said I couldn't because my account had been deactivated. So I contact customer service, and long story short, they tell me that my account is deactivated, and because I broke their policy by having too high of a cancellation rate, that my account is deactivated permanently, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'll be honest, when I saw that my account was deactivated, I was like, it's fine. I'll just contact customer service. They're always super helpful. I'll get assisted and we'll work this out, no problem. But I guess like the cancellation rate is just one thing that they do not tolerate. I mean, I'm sure there's other things that they don't tolerate, but it doesn't matter that my customer rating was high. It doesn't matter how many customers favorited me in the app. It doesn't matter that how many orders I completed or miles that I drove over these last 2 years. They were like, sorry, but you broke our contract and you're deactivated permanently. I can't tell you how sad I was and still am, because the money was good. If it was busy and I was diligent about working, like, it paid well. I could make a quick buck in like a few hours, you know, and it was super helpful to my husband and I. Like, if we had a last minute expense, or like we were going on a trip or like a vacation, like, it was a really great way to earn some quick money. It wasn't always easy. I literally did deliver 20 cases of water once to an airport. That was crazy. Sometimes it was really hard. It's like a simple job, but at the same time, like, sometimes you have really big orders and sometimes you have multiple orders and you're just trying to keep them organized. Like, it wasn't always easy. I worked really hard to do the job, but yeah, and then I was like let go in that way, and I was just like, wow. I was really sad, not just for the money, but I genuinely liked it. I liked that I could do it whenever I wanted. I liked that it worked around my ministry schedule, and just the job itself was fun. Like, I met and talked to so many amazing people I got to deliver orders to, and just like that, they were like, see ya. I've done a lot of crying this last 24 hours, because this happened yesterday. I've done a lot of crying. When big things like this happen, honestly, my first thought is like, God, you know, obviously God did this and he has a better plan for me. At the same time, I was feeling really like, am I being punished because I was supposed to film a video today and I didn't, you know? Am I being punished because I didn't steward this job well? Like, is this a punishment? Am I being disciplined? I thought about what I was praying. One of the things that I was praying yesterday morning, was, Lord, help me upload to YouTube consistently. Because my word for the year from God has been consistency. Like, be consistent in all these areas of your life and all these things that I've given you to do. Especially with YouTube, it's been really hard because I work and because I, you know, have things going on at home, or like all the stuff that I do in my church. Like, it can be really easy to get distracted with all of that and neglect YouTube. And I wouldn't say this year that I've neglected it at all, but I've uploaded like every 3 weeks or like every 2 weeks. Like, that's about as much as I could handle. Because I do spend a lot of time like editing. I put a lot of time into just setting up to film, making sure that everything's in order, getting ready, doing my makeup. Like, that sounds really simple, but like, I take a lot of time doing these things, setting up the lighting, studying, writing notes for what it is exactly that I want to talk about, and then editing. Editing takes me usually like at least 8 hours, depending how long the video is. So a video every 2 weeks is about all I've been able to manage. And then this happens, and I'm like, okay, well, I was praying for you to help me be consistent with videos, but I didn't think you were gonna do this. And I've been praying on it a lot. One thing that I feel like he's been telling me is like, I was putting 50% of myself into work and 50% of myself into YouTube and not putting 100% into either. He's still been able to use YouTube and do all these crazy things with it, Even though my channel's really small, I've seen like some of my videos get way more views than I ever thought they would at this time in my life, in my YouTube path. He's really shocked me with that. But again, like if his word for me is consistency, I really feel like if I'm more consistent in uploading, my channel will grow faster and be to the level that I really want it to be at. Because truthfully, I want to do this as a full-time job. I don't want to have a regular 9 to 5 anymore. Like I want to do something that has purpose and meaning. Like that's what I've been searching for these past few years, is having a career that I can make money off of, that, I actually enjoy and is helpful to people. Like I don't want to do something for the sake of just getting money. Like it's great if I get paid from it so that I can do it full time, but like the purpose is not money. The drive is not money. The drive is like, for this channel, it's like I want to help people. I want to lead people towards Christ. I want to teach people about Jesus and teach people about the Bible. Like that's my passion. And if I can make money off of that, like that's awesome. And so that's what I feel like God wants to give me, but I haven't put 100% of myself into this yet. And because he took this thing away, like today's verse of the day, I'll put it up on the screen because I can't remember exactly what it is right now, but it's like he cuts off every dead branch, every branch that doesn't produce fruit, and he prunes the ones that do to make it even more fruitful. And when that was the verse of the day today, I was like, yeah, cutting off how I was making money definitely feels like he's cutting off a dead branch, because if I can make extra cash, that's great. But he's like, that's not what I've called you to do though. Like, I'm not calling you to make extra cash right now. And like, logically, that doesn't make sense for me not to make extra cash right now. We need the money. We have debt to pay off and I want to move out. I'm currently living in my mom, my stepdad's house. We need to move out of here and just be on our own. My husband and I have always had roommates since we got married. We haven't lived on our own yet, which is crazy. And we both really want that, obviously. So logically, it doesn't make any sense for me not to be working right now. But if there's one thing I have learned about God, is that his plan oftentimes doesn't really make sense. Not at the moment, not when it's happening, not when the plans are being laid out and he's throwing all these curveballs your way and he's shifting things behind the scenes that you don't see. It usually doesn't make sense. But one thing that I've learned is that his plan is so much better than whatever I could imagine. I've even had family that's been really critical because they look at my life and they don't even really know that I work part-time. I don't share a lot of details about my life with my family because they gossip a lot. Just have been really private about the things that I do because I'm protective of it. I'm protective of my husband and I's involvement in ministry. I'm protective of what God has told me, I don't share that with my family. The enemy has used my family a lot to discourage me from God's plan for my life. So I've just been really protective of that and have kept a lot of it to myself. They might see me in one way because they don't see everything that I do or goes on in my life. They might look at me and think I'm lazy or I don't do much or whatever. But the truth is I've been balancing full-time ministry and trying to do this channel and working part-time and also just taking care of my husband, and cooking and cleaning and doing all these things that no one sees. And so my family has criticized me a lot, especially for doing ministry, which at the end of the day, I know is the enemy, just with how those situations have come about and just certain things that my family has said to me. I had a family member tell me that if I become too kingdom-minded, I'll be earthly absent, which is not biblical. We absolutely need to be kingdom-minded. And my family's Christian, but they're very lukewarm, honestly. And so they don't understand a lot of things that we do at church. They don't understand why I am so involved with ministry at my church. They've been super critical of it. My mom told me I was neglecting my family because I am at church so much. And I'm my immediate family is my husband. In the list of priorities of my life, it's God, my husband, and then the church and ministry. ministry, and my husband comes before ministry, but even when I do ministry, like he's always with me, like it's something that we do together. I'm not neglecting anything, and it should be all of our goals as Christians to build the kingdom of God. And that being said, you know, like their words about it have discouraged me, but at the same time, it's like, you weren't there when God told me these things in the secret place. Like, you weren't there when God told me to go into full-time ministry. You weren't there when God called me to do certain things. You weren't there when God told me to start my YouTube channel or to talk about all these different things like on my channel. Or like, you're in your own relationship with God that you got to work through. Like, you're not in my relationship with God, you know? So back to the job thing, two options, right? I could get another job and once again do the opposite of what God's calling me to do. But after praying about it, I'm just like, God is calling me to really put 110% into YouTube. I believe he's gonna do something with it. I don't know what, I don't know what, but in this whole area of my life, it's the only thing that I have peace about. And you guys can tell me your thoughts on this if you want, but I think I heard somewhere like, you know it's from God if you have peace about it. And this is what I have peace about. And I also heard like someone say recently too, God is not like us. He doesn't get thrown off when things change. He doesn't change his mind when circumstances around us change, or when we lose a job or like a tragedy happens. Like, his plan is still his plan, and what he's called you to do is still what he's calling you to do. His plan for you doesn't change just because your circumstances change, because he sees everything. He saw that this is going to happen to me, you know? It doesn't change the fact that he's called me to full-time ministry. And so I've decided to put 110% into this channel. I also have a very small TikTok channel I want to upload more to, like just take clips from my videos that I've already made and compile them into TikTok videos. I also want to, I have a lot of ideas that I want to do on TikTok, honestly. I want to make cooking videos for TikTok too. I don't know if I could do that on the same like TikTok page or if I would make like a different one, but that just sounds really fun. Like, I just want to make more content and help lead people to Jesus. Like, time is running out, you know? Jesus could come back. Jesus is coming back so soon. Like, we don't have time to waste. He told us as Christians to go and preach the word and preach the gospel and build the kingdom. Like, that's what I want to spend the rest of my life doing, you know? Like, nothing else matters. And of course, while we're building the kingdom, it's like, don't neglect your responsibilities, you know? Pay your bills, take care of your family, like clean your house, like take care of yourself, do your skincare, like make sure you know, take care of all these things. But at the end of the day, if you seek God and put him first, he will provide. But seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be provided to you. And over these last few years, I've done my absolute best to seek God first in every area of my life. I have not been perfect at all. There are still so many things that I struggle with, but like, he sees my heart. He knows that I'm trying to chase after him, like with all that I have, you know, and he's honoring that, and he provides. Even if we're not making $1 million a year right now, like, he provides. And I know and believe that when the timing is right, like, he's gonna help us get into our own place. And that's that. And if there is a job that he wants me to work, he's gonna provide that, you know? In my time that I spend with him, I know that he's gonna make it abundantly clear what he wants me to do. Another thing I wanted to share, well, first of all, my husband told me yesterday that he was specifically praying over my purpose and like just that God would help me to fulfill what he wants me to do in this life. And then like, I lose my job, which is so funny. But I realized last night that 10 years ago, I also lost my job. It was the only time I'd been fired. It's kind of a long story and I don't want to get into all of it, but basically I was fired for drinking on the job when I was working at Starbucks. Before you judge me, hear me out. I think I was 20 years old, so it was illegal, first of all, which I actually didn't realize until now. I'm sure I realized it then, but I haven't thought about it in a long time. That was 2014. That was like the darkest, most depressing, horrible year like of my life. If you know of Job in the Bible, like that was my Job year. Like I lost my job that year, I lost my boyfriend, I lost my best friend, I got in a horrible car accident, totaled my car, lost my car. God really stripped me of everything that year. And then shortly after that, I rekindled my relationship with Jesus that had been gone for several years at that point. He used all of that to get me into a deeper relationship with him. Also, I just want to say, drinking on the job is not correct. It was the only time I did it. It was the only time I ever did it. When I got caught, rightfully so, I had to get fired for it. My manager didn't want to let me go. It was just something that she had to do. And I was just in a really, really depressive place in my life at that time. I was making really horrible decisions. I was doing a lot of things that were opening doors to demons in my life. Like, it was not good. That was 10 years ago. And I just think it's so funny that this is like the next time time I lost a job like this. But yeah, back then, like, God was drawing me closer to him. And I feel like that's just what he's doing right now too. Because ministry, for example, should never be like our focus. Ministry, my YouTube channel, like whatever it is that you do, even when you're just worshiping God, like it's all an outpour of that time you spend with him, right? Like when I'm leading worship at like Celebrate Recovery, for example, that should be an outpour of what happens with God in the secret place. It should never be like ministry, leading worship, doing YouTube, like whatever it is should never be like the focus and then God comes. It's like you spend time with God and all these other things are just like an outpour of that relationship with God. Like the relationship with him always comes first. And I feel like lately, like I've been really good about spending time with God, but I also feel like he's kind of become, like, if I'm just being honest, this like task that I balance, and it hasn't been as rich as I have wanted it to be, because my relationship with God is very rich, but at the same time he wants me to grow in my faith, like, and because spiritual warfare on my life has been increasing, it's like I can't pray the exact same way that I did a year ago. Like I can't, like I've got to not like just do more, but just go deeper and just be more diligent and adamant and passionate of my relationship with God and go back to my first love, you know? Like my first love is not ministry, like it's Jesus. And I'm not saying I've completely lost that, but I just feel like, yeah, I've just been trying to balance all these things, and they haven't been as much of an outpour of my relationship with him as I've wanted them to be. And so I feel like this time to not work, to focus on my channel and focus on my relationship with him is just going to be so sweet. Like even just in this last day, it's already been so sweet, and he's just calling me to go deeper so that I can, yeah, go deeper with him and tell more people about Jesus. And you know, I hope that makes sense. I don't know if I'm explaining myself like that well, but yeah, that's just my little story for you guys today. I'm talking about me right now, but the whole point of me sharing this is like, I hope it is an encouragement for anyone that's watching that like feel like you've been going through a lot of changes lately. Like I've been going through like a lot of changes lately. This year has been weird, not like bad, just weird, and some big things have changed, and it's like that can be really scary and unsettling, but God develops us outside of the comfort zone. If you feel like you're losing something right now, if you're following the Lord and putting him first, you're not losing anything. God's taking you deeper. Even if things don't make sense right now, they will. Like I know that I've been in so many situations where I felt like, God, what are you doing? Do you really know what you're doing? Like it doesn't feel like it, but he's always come through. He's always come through, and his plan is infinitely better than mine every single time. And so yeah, I'm sad because I feel like I lost something I really loved, but he has something better, and I'm excited for what the future is going to bring. 10 years ago was about when I found my church and really started my faith journey for real, and just reflecting on that, like that year was super pivotal for me, and I just feel like already this year is really pivotal in my walk with God. And so my hope is high. It really is. The enemy has tried to steal my joy a lot lately, but I haven't let him. Even if I have moments where I feel sad and discouraged, it only lasts a moment. My life used to be so run by my feelings until God was showing me like, you're idolizing your feelings, and I didn't realize I was doing that. And actually my feelings of sadness were my comfort zone. He called me out of that, and I haven't looked back. Okay, before I ramble your guys' ear off, before I ramble your ear off too much, I am going to do my eyelashes and my hair, and I'll see you in a second. Ready? Okay, I am officially ready. I did my eyelashes, I did my hair. I actually still need to get dressed. I'm gonna go get a smoothie right now, which I'm really looking forward to. I hope you guys enjoyed this video slash story time slash hi, my name is Emily and I'm having an issue and I like to vent about it. Thank you for being here. I hope you continue to watch, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Pray that this video blessed you, encouraged you. Everything that I've said in this video is just to say that if it really is the Lord's plan and his will for me in this season, you're going to be seeing a lot more of me on YouTube. I just want to be consistent and make great content, and I'm going to continue to do like my sit down videos where I'm like talking to you guys about like whatever God puts in my heart. I also want to do more like vlog style videos, kind of more lifestyle videos. I have a lot of faith videos. I don't really have a lot of lifestyle videos, so I want to do more of that, and cook and I don't know, do a bunch of other things. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys more on this channel and just seeing what God does with it. I'm really excited. So anyway, I don't want to keep rambling on, but I really appreciate you guys. I love you so much. God loves you. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
I've been through some heartache, but it's bigger than me. How could I ever just quit? It's conviction of me. I heard the Lord say, if you go, then I can't promise you